we've got some new Gibson model and leaks to talk about tonight. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Let's go ahead and get into things. Epiphone recently released the Kirk Hammett Signature 1979 Flying V. I'm not going to talk too much about those in this episode because I'm going to get one to review and document. But we have reviewed the second custom shop version on the show, in which we briefly talked about the first iteration of that. But what's most exciting about the new Epiphone release, they finally brought the purple metallic version to fruition. Obviously, that's the one I'm choosing to document because it's new, it's different. Yes, the price tag is a bit high on Epiphone. I think it could have been worse, and compared to your $15,000 version, it seems relatively affordable. But no, our main topic tonight is the second Epiphone Kirk Hammett that got leaked. Apparently, some dealers have these already, they're just not allowed to sell them, but this one didn't get the memo. Alongside the new V, we finally see the Epiphone Greeny. We all knew it was probably eventually gonna come. We saw the 50K Collector's Edition, we saw the 20K Custom Shop, we saw the $31.99 Gibson Faded USA Standard, and to be honest, I have been completely Greeny'd out. There's been too many iterations, it's been in the forefront of the news. I'm ready for the next thing, but you can tell Gibson and Epiphone were sensitive to that, so they gave it one additional standout feature to build hype, and it's right here. That's not the new Epiphone one, that's the Gibson style headstock. Now Epiphone has done that in the past, and people have been wanting to see it return. So it looks like it's going to come in some sort of a reissue lift-in style case. I know it's a light pink interior, but that's how they were back in the 50s. The fact that we have a case at all is pretty nice. The person who purchased this one has leaked all the inside details as well. Looks like we're getting the Gibson USA pickups. It's going to have the long neck tenon construction. This particular example has a two-piece back that happens to have some nice figuring within it. Oh wow, real Grover tuners, just like you find on the Gibson USA version, but still being crafted in China. I'm kind of surprised they didn't go full out and give us fret nibs too. Now you gotta remember, this is all leaked information. Apparently they're $1,500, which again, might sound like a lot for an Epiphone, but everything I'm seeing there, that seems like a pretty good deal to me. But it definitely has the Epiphone satin finish to it, so it's not full on gloss, so maybe that's why it's not like $1,800. But again, that is not confirmed information. The price could be vastly different when it does come out. But I'm all of a sudden excited to review that one. But as far as officially announced things, the Les Paul Modern Lite is finally here. A couple of dealers were leaking these a few days early on Reverb, and we've actually talked about these in a leak even before that, but it's the first time we're seeing them in the flesh. They're officially out now. They are $14.99. Again, I'm going to review one, so I'm not going to talk too much about them in this episode. We've got 5 awesome colors to choose from. Personally, I think I like the Inverness Green and the Rose Gold Satin. I'm tempted just to pick up the whole set to see which one looks better in person, but we'll see what I choose to review. Looks like we've got our comfort cut, but no like modern heel swoop, and it's just a very bare bones staining job with the open pore finish. So far, I've heard mixed reviews on public opinion of these, but I think they're kind of cool. However, you got to keep in mind, like $100 more, you get a full-on Les Paul Studio. So they kind of seem like a bad deal in comparison to that, but never judge a guitar until you try it. But wait, hold the phone. This is news to me. Apparently there's also a new Les Paul Studio called the Les Paul Modern Studio. This is not on Gibson's website yet, but you can find it on their official Gibson Gear video. Now, it looks like the Studio is actually going to come in a nitro satin finish this time instead of full gloss. These won't be launching until 2024. But holy cow, they brought the ebony fretboard back. There is a new golden era of studios. That's brand new to me. I have not seen anybody talk about these. I mean, the fact that it's compound radius makes it even more fun, but it looks like we also have black chrome hardware. And it's also got the comfort heel swoop. I've never personally been a big fan of that, but it's nice that it has it. It's another feature that makes it different. I am all of a sudden really excited for these because they wanted to one-up the 90s studios, because look, that has the Gibson Mother of Pearl logo. I don't mind getting rid of the gloss finish to have the ebony board and the Mother of Pearl logo. They might be onto something with that one, wow. But they also just came out with this, the Les Paul Modern Figured. Previous to this, we only had the faded pale and blue top, the sparkling burgundy, as well as the graphite top. Now they're offering them in cobalt burst, cherry burst, and a see-through seafoam green. I think this is kind of cool because now you get a flame top and it's the exact same price. Now whether I'll review one of these or not, I'll leave that to if somebody wants to do a new Guitar Day purchase with me, because everything else seems about the same. But don't forget the SG Supreme will probably come out based on this Teaser by Cesar. Since it's got the Super 400 inlays with 24 frets, it's got the figured maple top, It could be something else, but it really seems like the SG Supremes will be coming out soon. However, I'm seeing something new for the first time. What is this 335 on Gibson's Modern Collection page? It appears to have black and white binding with maybe a black bound neck. Perhaps that might be something new, because I don't see that model right here. I just see like the normal 339 and the 335 satin, but those have different binding styles. So that might be another teaser. Speaking of Cesar and teasers, if you go to his Instagram page, yeah, we can see his nice vintage collection, Gemini, all these other great custom shops and other teasers that we've seen in the past, such as If You Missed It, the 70s Explorer and Flying V now coming natural. Really like the look of that V. But look at this guy right here. That's James Hetfield. Now, to be fair, when you click on that, it's just like recapping his trips to see all these cool bands playing live in person, because he's, friends with a lot of the people in these bands. They're making signature guitars for him. It's not all just about him, because you also have Richie Faulkner over here, as well as Adam Jones and Tool, even some Slash. But seeing this gives me hope that maybe, just maybe, he will be joining the Gibson family of brands, because why else would he prominently feature him there alongside these other artists he's already working with? I know a lot of guys say James would never leave ESP. Gotta realize, Metallica is a big enough of a band, they can work with two. And hey, it's November 3rd. If they're gonna do another 50K collector's edition, I think we'll be hearing about it soon. Because we know it's not the Adam Jones Flying V that's supposed to come out relatively soon. Kind of surprised we didn't see that one come out on Halloween, to be honest. So only time will tell. But my friends, we're not even done yet. Everybody has been sending me this Anderton's video asking me to talk about it. So Lee and his filming crew recently took the trip over the pond to visit so many different factories in the USA, of which they're dealers for. Their first stop was at Gibson. That's the only thing they've posted so far, but if you're watching this episode in the future, go check them out. Maybe they have the other ones. So it's this display room right here that has a lot of people talking. We were just saying how the modern collection's getting this whole overhaul. Like here we can see that Supreme. We can also see the Custom Color series, which we saw all of them in a huge unboxing right here. However, this room has a lot going for it. First off, I really like these display tables. I've been trying to figure out a good way to display my collection. I'm thinking I might try to do something similar to this. But we know just about everything over here. And over here we've got the Rick Beato double cut and some other things we've probably already seen. But it's this table over here. What is all this? Going to Gibson's website right now, clicking on SGs. We currently have cherry standards on pretty much everything, and those are all 61 style. But what sleeps in the modern collection? The SG Modern, we already know about those, and how they might have that newer Supreme. We've got the Tribute that nobody talks about, and then we've got the regular SG Standard. Why is it in the modern collection? I'm not exactly sure. Probably because it's the 68 style Batwing guard, but you got them in Heritage Cherry, and you got them in black. That's pretty much how Gibson has made the SG Standard since the beginning of their time. But look at this. It looks like we're gonna get a whole new plethora of colors. We've got some sort of a TV yellow, a phantom blue burst, looks like a silver, some type of a green, classic white, and maybe some sort of a red burst SG Standard. It kind of gives me SG Goddess vibes here. I'm really digging the phantom blue burst. However, then we have this thing here. It really reminds me of this Les Paul prototype that we documented. It was one of the Apex headcarve protos. Now, it's very possible that that's a prototype and it's not actually going to come into production. Might that be a new Les Paul Studio? I'm not seeing binding in this particular still frame, but it's got a pretty explosive top. It appears we do have the Gibson Mother of Pearl logo there, so it'd have to be slightly higher end than a Studio. Could be some sort of a limited edition. I'm excited to see what that might become. So everybody's talking about that, but if we ask Jim over here to move his head real quick, we can see something else. There's those white Explorers we've been waiting for, and it's got the triangle knob layout, so we know it's the 80s ones, and Cesar's teased these in the past. A lot of people are now starting to think that instead of being a Guitar Center exclusive, like we've been previously led to believe, it might just be the James Hetfield first signature guitar with Gibson. Whether or not that's true, I guess we'll just find out. But it is cool to see at least some sort of a prototype sitting over there, because you also have to remember, this weird flying V shape is like, what, 2018 in vintage? So not everything in this room is new. Some of these could indeed be false leads. Like over here, we've got the B2 Explorer and the B2 Flying V. Yeah, we haven't seen those things in a while. But another thing that caught my attention is right under here. When Gibson bought out Mesa Boogie, we kind of figured the Gibson amps would be coming back. They've been working on that for a while. These are like late 90s, early 2000s Gibson Super Gold Tones. That's the GA60 version that has the 2 same size speaker. I'm wondering, are they bringing the Super Gold Tones back? Or are those just old and they've had them a while? They're cruise control for cool, so it makes great in that display. But everything else in this room is pretty new looking to me. The next thing that caught my attention was around the 119 mark. We can see one of those newer SG Standards. We've got a Custom Colors edition, maybe one of the SG Supremes, and some other various stuff, but I could not place this particular one. It's an awesome blue flame top, but it has more of an ocean green back. Usually that is the same color, it just looks different on maple than it does on mahogany. So maybe that's part of that other mystery one from the other room? Not entirely too sure, but that one is looking kind of cool. But if you continue on to the 129.17 mark, you can see a whole bunch of more of those SGs. So we know it's not just like some one-off. There's our silver, but you can see a lot of this greenish blue color on the backs of these. Kind of cool to see them all floating through the air like that as they are drying and moving on to the next process in their factory. But you gotta remember, this is Gibson USA production, not custom shop. Here's another angle showing off some of those nice light green backs. That one's got some good figuring. And there we go, there's a good look at that red bursted one, and maybe some more of those silvers. And here was another still where you could see the silver and the red burst together, and one of the silver ones being completed on the line. Looking really good from that angle. At 43.19 in the video, I thought I might have saw the new Firebirds that we've been hoping for. The original collection ones have disappeared, and there's been rumors that a Set Neck Firebird would eventually take its place. So I got really excited, but then Jim pulls it out and I can see, nah, that's probably one of the Gene Simmons Thunderbird bases because you have the 3-in-a-line controls right here instead of our normal 4. However, if they can make those like that, it definitely makes sense that they could make them like that in the future. So that's it for all the new models today. The rest of our episode tonight will just be things that I found entertaining about this video, but I do highly suggest you just go watch the whole video. But I found it neat as you walk through this little hallway here, they actually have a gallery of their past signature models right along here, right before their bathrooms. So like the old Zakk Wylde Vertigo, I'm surprised they even still have that up since he doesn't work with them. You've got the Sully Erna smiley face guitar over here. This looks like one of the older Tony Iommi signatures. That's probably the Joe Bonamassa tomato soup, if I had to guess. We've got one of the older Slash signatures. Wow, I'm surprised they have that there. That's the Du Hast Rammstein signature. I mean, some of these are quite rare and valuable today. I'm surprised they don't sell them off and start to display different things. And I can't quite see what the other ones were, but they did have this interesting steampunk guitar. I have seen this released in other ones, so it's got one of those vibrolas, but without the covering plate, just to make it look steampunk. Then you've got your metal piping, some sort of a gauge. Oh wow, we haven't seen those powder-coated pickups in a while. Like you could find those in, I believe it was the Gibson I guitar. But it looks like that was built on like a Les Paul special type body. But here's another interesting thing. So apparently Gibson has changed how they create semi-hollow guitars recently. Around the 42.5-minute mark, they state that they no longer route the F-holes until after the guitar is like completely finished, meaning it has a color put on top of it. Apparently it cuts down on some of the process. That means there's like a complete conveyor line of completed 335s that don't have the F-holes. Why don't they just release a modern version that doesn't have it? Kind of similar to the Lucille's. That would save them even more time on the production line. At the 48.30 mark, they talked about their Gibson headstock veneers, which I thought was kind of cool. Apparently they're making them out of a phenolic material for Gibson USA. Then he says something about pear wood for the custom shop. I usually hear it referred to as a Hollywood veneer, so maybe that's changed over the ages, or maybe it's just a different name for the same thing, I don't know. But after they have that on the headstock, I found this machine interesting. It's what gives Gibson that perfect open book headstock every time, as they shave away the excess. Then around the 51-minute mark, I thought this was an interesting still frame. How it almost appears most Les Pauls actually do start with a volute, and they just kind of get shaved away. Now, he was saying one of these was an SG neck and the other one was a Les Paul neck, so maybe it does actually vary, because this could be like an Adam Jones neck. But either way, it looks like the wood starts there, gets shaved away. And then about an hour and a half into it, Lee gets to put on his own Slash decal to a guitar. I think it would be really funny to find this one out in the wild. He was all worried about screwing it up, but he does tell you the serial number right here, because somebody who's a big fan fan of Andertons would probably like to have this one. Then the last little fun fact I found around the 1 hour 37 minute mark. For some reason, I just thought they would have hand wired every guitar right then and there, but that does seem incredibly inefficient, so they just have all these pre-wired harnesses that they slap all together as soon as the guitar has been finished and is ready for parts like that. Now I'm sure they still have to connect ground wires and things like that, but that's a little bit less messy, and then there's less risk for, solder burn marks and all that other good stuff. All right, Troglodytes, I hope you enjoyed all this new news and the biggest highlights that I saw from this recent Gibson USA factory. Don't forget to check out that full video, and I will catch you guys tomorrow on the next episode. Take care. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, consider subscribing. I post videos like this every day, and you might even enjoy this next one.